Unless you were hiding under a rock this last weekend, you would have noticed that one of the biggest, in fact, million-dollar championships was held over a 4-day period, and this was the Ryder Cup, which is a golfing tournament that's held between, or rather fought out between the USA and Europe. There are many interesting insights into Ryder Cup and the many different aspects and legal aspects, especially for me, which I'm always concerned about, that arise when you have such a mega tournament with so many sponsorships, so many aspects concerning intellectual property rights, television rights, and the fact that is sport really something we watch for fun and something we do for our country, or is it something that's so super monetized that everything is really measured in terms of profitability? I would say that there are probably 3 invisible battlegrounds that define the Ryder Cup. The first one is probably the commercial side of things, which is all the sponsorships. So whilst you have BMW that has a different messaging for both markets, the US and Europe, you also have other sponsors like Rolex. And one of the biggest stakeholders and sponsors is obviously DP World, which is headquartered right out of Dubai, where I'm talking to you from. I would say sponsorship is not just about selling your brand in tournaments like this. It's more almost like a geopolitical influence. Like if you look at DP World itself, it is the logistics partner for effectively Ryder Cup, which is a joint venture between the PGA Tour of America and the European Tour. So very interesting dynamics where you are actually vying for significant global attention by being a sponsor, being associated with an event like that. The same for hotel chains like Hilton that are actively associated with events like the Ryder Cup. I would also say that lawyers have an amazing time with an event like this because there are so many aspects when it comes to things like venue, sponsorship contracts, AI-generated tools, so not just television rights, but algorithms that are creating reels, TikTok, etc., aspects to that, and the ownership and the rights around all of the branding. As you probably know, the Ryder Cup this year at Bethpage Black in New York City generated over $200 million of revenue. That's basically the ticket sales, the merchandising, as well as the television rights, and all of the commercialization of all of these aspects. He also had some player disputes and aspects between tours because obviously there has been a big bust up, if I can call it that, between the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour and the European Tour, and therefore LIV players are not generally invited to several events. And of course you need law firms like us navigating some of these aspects, and some of these disputes do lead to mediation in sport and more complex arbitration because they are very complex issues concerning players' rights and the rules around the groups or the federations that they belong to. The third and important aspect of any such tournament is obviously data ownership, which has obviously become a big aspect of all legal advisory stuff around tournaments like this, which have any IP rights, collection of data, managing of data, etc., where there are significant number of rules, GDPR, privacy rules, etc., that govern the use of the data and dissemination of this data. So the Ryder Cup is really much more than just a tournament. It's almost a legal tournament where you have billion-dollar contracts, you have lots of legal aspects and legal issues involved, you have sponsors involved, and you have players involved who have different rights and who belong to different federations. So next time I watch a putt drop in one of these big tournaments, I have to think to myself, who owns the moment, who profits from the moment, and who actually creates and owns the rights to these moments? Those are my legal insights on the Ryder Cup. Thank you so much for watching.